Hey everybody, welcome to the Caroline Community Connection. It is Teacher Appreciation Week, and today is actually, I think, the Teacher Appreciation Day, and we have a special guest. We have the Scottsdale Education Association President, Kris Ambri. Kris started teaching in 1990. She's a graduate of Sun Devil University, ASU, and actually has her master's from NAU. She's serving her second term and not running for re-election. So we're going to kind of get into how teachers should be appreciated, how things should move forward, how things were in the past, just a wide-ranging conversation. If you have any questions for Kris, please type them into the bar, and by the power of Andy Gomez, we'll get that over into the Zoom, and then we will ask away. So, gosh, Kris, first of all, how are you and the other Kris doing? How's your family?
Oh, we're good. We're good. Thanks for asking. I should probably mention that we do have 5 dogs in the house right now, so there's going to be barking at some point. I'm sorry, but yeah, we're hunkered down, working from home. We're good.
Yeah. And I hear you have an addition to your family. I did see some pictures on the internets. Aren't you a grandma now?
Oh, well, yes. I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up because then I'll talk about it for the next hour. You know how
Well,
grandmas
I'm just going to go like this then. Just
Yes, super, super, super proud. I have 2 amazing, fabulous children, and my daughter is a mother and an absolutely adorable 2-month-old grandson.
wow. Well, Mazel tov, as they say in the Jewish business here.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Hey, so let me ask you something. Tell me, so the COVID experience has really turned education up on its ear, right?
Yes.
You guys got tossed aside, and I am just so proud of the way educators across the country have come through and taken a bad situation, didn't run away from it, took it head on, and I don't know if another profession could actually do what you guys have all done. Tell me, what do you see as some of the things that just kind of make your heart pound with pride?
Well, that's a good point. I think pride is the right word. I couldn't be more impressed and proud of our profession and our people. And because I think that's the whole point. It's all about people. Everyone who teaches does it for the love of students, for the love of working with their kids and helping them become what we know they can be. And so, oh, okay, world, gonna turn upside down, hold my beer. I'm going to still educate every single kid because that's what we do. And I really am. I'm super proud. I'm concerned a little bit about the amount of hours it's taking for so many, but the things that they're doing and completely reinventing everything, I know as an old dog learning new tricks, this is hard. I can't tell you how many new things I've learned in the last 2 months.
Well, and that's one of the bright things going forward. I think more teachers will have a larger tool belt for the
Mhm.
skills that they can use to help expand upon reaching students.
True.
But there's definitely some downsides about distance learning. I was in charge of the online high school for a while, and I have to tell you, even though these are older kids and they chose to be online, it was abysmal, the amount of engagement. You can't recreate human kindness, the human touch, the human person right in front of you. What is the hardest part about online teaching, do you think?
That is the hardest part about online teaching. I mean, I'm sure you'll see there'll be comments and things about that. There's so much extra work. There's so much that. But the bottom line is, it's kind of like if you took you have it. It's a job, yes, but it's a career that you love. It's everyone knows. Every teacher knows it's your life. It's not just a job. And then you keep all the things that make it not as fun and you completely remove the best part of it because the best part of it is hanging out with your kids every day. And I know, bless those elementary teachers doing those Zoom meetings and those kind of things. And as a middle school teacher, I do communicate sometimes, one-on-one with my kids like that. But for the most part, and I mean everything, not just the, movie theater aha moments when they get something or you've helped that troubled child. I just mean everything, every day. Hey, they come in and they're excited about something and they tell you because they know you care, and they know you want to know about it, and they know you're going to get the feedback they're looking for. New things that happen to them, bad things that happen to them. You want to be there for them for that too. You want to, all the socialization, that truly, I would say, is the hardest part. It's you're taking away the best part of what we do, is being with the kids.
So, this is the difference between a job and a career, right? A job and a profession. You're not going to do a job. You're going to do, like, I don't want to, get too crazy, but you're doing God's work. I mean, I really believe that. I mean, seriously, just with school being out of session, you know that there's more cases of child abuse and domestic abuse, and yet there's less reporting because teachers are the first responders when it comes to that. You are the confidants. You pick up on those little subtleties. And I think right now that we have online learning, it's about learning. When we have school, it's about the whole child. And that's the tough part to fill in.
Very well put. I couldn't have said it better. That is so well put. And I mean, enormous shout out to the district, enormous shout out to Patty Bilberry, getting all the food. That's a huge concern, is making sure everyone is fed, getting everyone the technology they need, the laptops, the hotspots. But it's still, and it's no one's fault. I mean, it is what it is, but it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And we're reaching out as much as we can, but especially, those middle school age. I mean, you have to be there. They're not gonna, how are you doing? Fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of nuanced detective work, right?
Yes.
If all you have are words are a one-dimensional or two-dimensional, you need to see in three-dimensional.
Yes, 100%, 100%. That for sure. And I every teacher will say, I'm sure that I can. This is one time where I feel very comfortable speaking for everyone. That's the hardest part, is not getting to see them. Especially, no one knew that was the last day we were going to get to see them.
Yeah.
Somehow that just makes it even worse.
Right. You hear about people saying, I needed closure, right? I mean, I never put much stock in it, but I know that the last day of school was kind of like the best of times, the worst of times. You're looking forward to summer and the downtime, but I would take a week to kind of get over the depression that you'd have of setting up 9 months of your life.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone.
Yeah, gone. They're gone. They're not yours anymore. They're not,
the emotional investment. Hey, so it's Teacher Appreciation Week. Have you gotten anything as a feedback? When you're in the classroom, you get little gifts and stuff. Sometimes you get a note. Anything coming through?
Well, I will give a shout out to my school, which is Copper Ridge, and they put signs in everybody's yard. And so I have a really cute Copper Ridge teacher sign that I still need to go out there and take a picture with, but I'm not leaving the house much. So frankly, I wouldn't have known it was there if I hadn't gone out to get the paper, but it was super sweet. And I just today, one of my students sent me an email, just a short, quick email that just said, appreciate all the extra work you're putting in during this time. Thank you for being a great teacher. From an 8th grade boy, that is priceless. I mean, that's worth its weight in gold.
It really is.
I'm happy. I couldn't be happier. That's really what we want. Like, if somebody just says, "Hey, thanks," that's huge.
So let me share, and then I'll ask you as well. First of all, we're talking to Kris Ambri. She's the president of the Scottsdale Education Association, and we're going to talk a little bit about leadership and teacher leadership. But to tell you the truth, it's all volunteer, and you take on a whole lot more work, and nobody's ever happy. So kudos to you for doing the work that needs to be done. But let me say one thing.
You know it well.
Yeah, I do know it well, and we'll talk about that. My best teacher gift was I was teaching at Hohokam Elementary School, and Megan Blakey, if you're out there, she's I think she's working for Grand Canyon University. It was back in the late 90s, and she did some detective work about what I like, I think, and basically she found out that I would be happy with a massage, so she collected $2 from every kid in the class, bought a massage gift certificate, and everybody signed a card. And it was the best gift ever. So, whether it's a handwritten note, or, it's kind of the same thing. So tell me, what was the best thing you've ever received as a teacher? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
That's hard. That's a tough one, because I've taught 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, and 8th. So it's a bit of a, there's a yeah. But I know it's cliche and I'm sorry, but honestly, I would say the best thing is every time it's handwritten and it's the child's handwriting and they mention something specific. I loved when you talked about this, or I love the way you, or, I really enjoyed your class. It means so much. Now, second, I'm going to be honest too, is the kids in my classroom are very aware that I'm somewhat obsessed with Kate Spade. So I have had a few Kate Spade things, and not because that's like, a nice gift, but because it meant they noticed that. They noticed little things I had in the room or something like that. And I know now that I think about it, one year, and it really surprised me because it was my first or second year, I can't remember which one, teaching middle school. And I really didn't expect anything because I was used to elementary where you have a room mom and they're so good about, they're just so awesome. And not that middle school room moms aren't great, because they are, but I didn't expect a gift. I certainly didn't. And darn if those kids, they didn't put together, and a bunch of them coordinated and put money together like you were talking about. And it was a Kate Spade watch with a little map, because I love maps and globes and things. So that was pretty cool. That's
Yeah,
pretty
I would say so.
Yeah, because
Wow.
it was two things that I love that they paid attention to, and then doing what it took to get that coordinated, and it was just such a nice gift.
Wow. Hey, we got a bunch of questions coming in. I'm going to
Uh-oh.
ask people to put some more. We got Kris Ambri here, president of the Scottsdale Education Association. And I have some questions. Rose, we're going to get to your question. J Mac, we're going to get to yours. Faith, we're going to get to yours.
Oh.
But here, don't worry.
Did
I want to
you rigged the questions, didn't you, Carla?
no, I didn't. But I want to set this up. Scottsdale Unified School District is roughly home to 23,000 students, about 1,500 certified teachers and all, part-time some, another 1,500 of classified staff administration. It's a big operation. And the success of Scottsdale is part parent, part environment, and a whole lot of part to the district. Now, I I served as the Scottsdale Education president back in 2006 through 2010. I came in after a very dark time in our district. This was after we had a superintendent that came in, kind of similar to your superintendent, not like that one. But basically, when I came in, I had a full-time release position that I was working as a liaison between administration, community, and teachers. I was part of the leadership team, which means I sat with the superintendent and all the upper muckety mucks every Monday morning for about 3 hours, and I was actually an active part of decision making. I was asked what's going on in the classrooms, and we had 4 years of peace and prosperity. It wasn't about making money, but we opened programs together. We started the foreign language immersion program at Pueblo by working together, getting around the TEA in the sense that we had put in language. When we went to bargaining, we started interest-based bargaining, where we said, what is the interest behind it? Put all personalities aside. We worked to deal with those interests. I have to tell you, you've kind of come into a crap sandwich. Yeah, I'll say it. You've had 2 years of banging your head against the wall, basically. You came in after Julie Sanowski, who was a great president, but at that time we had a superintendent that basically said teachers are the problem. You had a divided governing board with 3 members that basically said teachers are the problem. And now we've gotten to a point where we have a lame duck superintendent that's still maybe not saying teachers are the problem, but really hasn't embraced the teachers. And I find this so troubling, because we're getting into a very dangerous area where education is very different. It's going to be very different. And there are so many things that they just don't get because their feet aren't in a classroom. So let's get down to the questions.
Oh,
What the heck is going on? Why do people not want to hear from teachers? And here's my thing. I have seen communication come out and then they get whiplash because they did it wrong and it has to come back out again. And they do something wrong. So let's go right into J Mac's question. What's going on with the grading policy? Here's another thing that they retreated on.
Mhm.
How are the members of the SEA, what are they saying about the district grading policy for online learning? And why the heck didn't they start talking to teachers about it?
Well, I think the $1 million question is why there isn't more teacher input as far as, especially now. I really try as best I can, especially because I don't want to have verbal flashbacks, but try as best I can to think about, okay, the past is the past. What matters is today and tomorrow. What can we do to serve forward? Um, we did, when we kind of started realizing that the district was making decisions without reaching out to SEA or teachers in general that we knew of, we did what SEA does best. We listened to the teachers. So I collected feedback from across the district, basically teacher concerns regarding online learning during this crisis. This was before phase two. This is when we were in phase one.
So let me just recapture here. One, they did stuff, didn't ask anything for the teachers, really didn't include them. There was a lot of pushback. You had to then do more work by then collecting. No, seriously, because it is work and you
Yeah.
are a volunteer. So you collected the stories and you brought forth what teachers were experiencing. Go ahead.
Well, yes, and also I would say, kind of as a to piggyback on that, a lot of it became much like during Red for Ed in a way. Communication was the biggest issue. Like, what's going on? What's going on? What are we doing? So I started trying to send out emails every day as best I could. Now I do them maybe 2 or 3 times a week, that kind of thing, to try to make sure everybody knew what was going on. We figured out how to run site rep meetings on Zoom. We just kind of kept going, just like everyone else has been doing. I took the concerns when it was originally in phase one, and what I kept hearing is, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm scared of this pandemic. I miss my kids. I don't know how to be a teacher this way. And I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's too much. It's just too much. We appreciate the district gave great resources. We appreciate it, but it's too many and it's too much. And we're not feeling 100% sure what we're supposed to do. So, like I said, I pulled it together. I kind of, had some quotes, had some generalities, and then I kind of summarized it, basically about the being overwhelmed, sudden job change, sudden, I'm trying to do this, my kids are at home. Not everyone has grown kids like we do. They have their own children there. We all want to be there. A lot of it was, we really think we need to be focusing. And again, remember, this was in March. Okay, this is
Yeah.
late March. This is early.
Yeah. So just as a recap, they basically said, now again, not talking to teachers, we're open March 16th for school. And then 2 days later or so, oh, we're going to online learning the 23rd. They were kind of late because they weren't communicating with you guys. Go on.
It went back and forth. I will say, because I always give the benefit of the doubt anyway, but I would say I wouldn't necessarily, and I don't want to, the word judge isn't the right word, but that week, that crazy spring break week, basically, is what it was. It was crazy. I don't even know. I can't even. But yes, I think I will say we did ask for a teacher to be present in one of the meetings they were having. I think it was the Thursday of spring break, right before all this. So we did have that, but that was it. So I don't want to misspeak. We did have that. Yeah, we're going, we're not going. And then it was, okay, you're going to do, then you're coming in for training. And there was a lot of backlash on that. And then it was, okay, it's going to be online training. And, you've got 3 days and then we're going to hit the ground running on Monday, 23rd, I want to say. Does that sound right? I think that was it. And so that first 2 weeks, that was when I was really hearing a lot from everyone, how hard it was. It was a matter of, can we please put socio-emotional needs ahead of trying to get all these academics going? That was the number one thing. I put it together. I made sure we all agreed, it made sense, got extra feedback, because when I speak for others, I never want to misspeak. And we did send that. We sent it to the governing board and to the district, but didn't actually hear anything back about it. So then there was the second phase. We have SEA leadership. We do meet. We've met with Dr. Krikard and Dr. Bowman, which I would like to say I do appreciate them taking the time to meet with us, because I know they're burning the candle at both ends right now. And one of them at least I know has kids at home, but you know, we talk, but and we let them know that there was a big concern that teacher voice wasn't being heard, and that was duly noted. Then phase 2 happened. The same day that phase 2 happened, and everything, all the grading came out. We had actually done a meeting. We facilitated a meeting with elementary teachers, middle school teachers, and high school teachers separately. SEA, non-SEA, we represent everybody really. And we ended up with a pretty large document where it was like, okay, what are your biggest issues and what are your possible solutions? Because I really believe if it's a problem, you need to think of a way it could be solved. Otherwise, you just complain. So we had issues and solutions, and that was sent out to also to the governing board and now when I say district, I'm including Dr. Menzel. But I think they had already made the decision. Again, we had asked for teacher input, but I think the decisions had already been made. Apparently, the principal, at first I was told that the principals were gathering input from their teachers, but we've talked to so many principals and they said, well, no, we weren't really told that. And then we did find out that Dr. Creekar did in fact reach out to some teachers, maybe about half a dozen teachers or so. But not us. And I mean, we like to think of ourselves as the voice because we try to talk to everybody.
Well, and here's the thing. Your organization, for all intents and purposes, is a union. It's costs some money to be part of the union, and people have a choice here in this state whether they want to belong or not. You still bargain for everybody when you were bargaining.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
we were.
I remember that the association got cards that say, do you want to be represented by the SEA, members and non-members by payment? And 90% of those, I mean, quite over 1,000 came back saying yes.
Yeah.
This district could have then said, you know what, we want a central voice for the teachers. We do like to have that. Instead, they kind of said, oh, we have a teacher here. And it's kind of like saying, I'm not a racist. That's my black friend over there. I like teachers. That's my teacher friend over there. I'm sorry. That's what it's like. Let's just call it what it is. All right. I mean, it's like my election. My election coming up. I represent a certain state of values. I think I'll be elected, but I'm not going to say I'm only going to work with Democrats because I have constituents who are independent. I have Republicans, and quite frankly, I'm in the minority no matter what, as are they if they're going to lead us as party. And quite frankly, this is the part that really galls me. We are going to have a crisis coming up, whether it's at the legislature or in our schools, and we need everybody's voice being heard so we can come to the best reasonable solutions to move our state forward. So let me ask you about this. Rose Smith, who's actually running for the governing board, and I actually support Rose Smith. I think she's going to be a great governing board member. Julie Sanowski, I think, is going to be a great governing board member. And that dude, Zach. I just like Zach. Because you can say Zach. But I think Zach Lindsay's going to be a good governing board member. And once those 3 people are elected, I think we can move forward in the way we have to. But Rose right now is wondering about summer school and the return to school. That's under the old board. The ones that don't really, as a majority, don't really give a two, as I say, poops about the teachers. What kind of conversations are you having? Because here's my concern. Summer school will probably be fine for online because they've done online summer school before. But it's the back to school where you're talking about brick and mortar and you're talking about older teachers with issues. You're talking about compromised immunities. You're talking about a whole bunch of, just think about the kindergartners that are always picking their nose and, wiping things and touching, licking doorknobs. I mean, what has been going on involving the teacher representation as you go to dial up next school year?
Well, shout out to Rose, and it's a great question, and it's one that we've been asking and one that we've been addressing. At this juncture, we're looking to work with Dr. Menzel, the incoming superintendent, more because he will be more under his jurisdiction as far as what the opening of school is going to look like. We have met with him because he reached out and asked to meet with us. So
hey, that's a good sign.
We thought so too. SEA leadership has met with Dr. Menzel. I think one of the things that he said, and of course this was a question we asked him, that really resonated with me because I'm a little sensitive to it. These articles that get published and when people talk about getting back to school, I get frustrated because a lot of times it starts with, well, we've got to get the kids back in school because we got to get people back to work. And I hear it and I get it. But you and I know it makes us sound like glorified babysitters instead of the professionals that we are. So that's kind of itchy to me. The other one is, and I know there was an article, op-ed in the paper maybe a week or two ago, all these reasons we need to go back and not one mention of the health and safety of the incredible amount of adults that it takes to run a school. We're teachers, of course we're thinking about the kids' safety first. That's what we do. So I can tell you right now, spoiler alert, you can't fit 38 kids in my classroom if the desks are 6 feet apart. So don't know how that's going to happen, but we don't pretend to have all the answers, but we're professionals. We're very well educated, and all of us, as we do as teachers anyway, have been studying and researching, well, what are they doing here? What are they doing there? What would be the best practice? So we have reached out to the administration. We have indicated that we would very much like to be a part of the planning. I will always respect the fact that certain decisions have to be made. It's above my pay grade, which, as we talked about, is free. And I get that, but I will always say that I think that those people who we're in there, we're with the kids every day. We talk to parents every day. We're with staff every day, the community every day. When you've got parking lot duty, when you've got crossing guard duty, when you interact with everyone every day, you really have some good intel to give. I'm not saying step aside and let us make all the decisions. I'm saying we have a lot to offer. We have a lot to give, and it's probably going to really benefit the students is what's going to happen. So we have tried. I'll be honest with you, I don't really see a lot, but with what's going on now, but I do see good things with Menzel. He was one of the first people I heard indicate when the students come back, and I should preface, I don't mean no one else has ever said it, but I talked to him a while ago, so he was the first one I heard it from. We really need to be thinking about the social emotional well-being of staff and students.
Good for him.
Yeah, I thought, well, thank you.
Hey, the ship don't move without the motor. And
no, it's traumatic for everyone. Obviously for the kids more. I mean, that goes without saying, and that's what we're there for. But let us do that. Let us help them.
There's lots of research that will show that working conditions are student learning conditions. You know, we talk about that. That's kind of a phrase we use. But really, when teachers leave the profession, money is one of the last things that push them out. We have so many other concerns. So Becky, I say, you know, you're a kindergarten teacher. You should look a little bit more closely. Maybe you'll see a kid lick a doorknob, because it happens. It happens. I do want to say,
have you ever seen a herd of middle schoolers? There's no space in between them.
Hey, I want your help. I want to get that Dr. Scott Menzel right here on this program. I want to put him in the hot seat, and I think he'll be fantastic.
I think
if what he's doing as a start is carried through, he gets it. I'll just say I'm disappointed that in a time of crisis, when the better angels of us come out, that our district leadership hasn't learned enough that no, you don't have to make the decision, Kris Ambri. But if you and your company if you're part of the decision, then whether it works or not, you're supporting it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Next year is going to start. And if somebody on the other end is making a decision for you without your input, good. If it happens and it works, you're going to be, oh, okay, that worked. If it doesn't work or it's not going so well, it's going to be like, a mutiny. You do not have people's buy-in. It's going to be bad for learning. It's going to be bad for families. So I do want to make a plug. Tomorrow we have Vice President of this governing board, Patty Beckman, coming on. I hope everybody tunes in and asks their questions.
Okay.
On Thursday, we're going to be talking with Dawn Thicker-Packett. I think I got the last names incorrect, but she's part of the Save Our Schools, where we'll be talking about vouchers. And then Friday, Penich Thacker. And then on Friday, we're going to be talking with the big chief, Superintendent of Public Schools for Arizona, Kathy Hoffman.
Nice.
And I think you'll want to tune into that because here's the thing. She has done unbelievable work by pulling in all parts of a coalition.
Mm-hmm.
When she comes out with something, she's got everybody's input, and it's been shown to work. Jane Mack asked another question. We're going to get past that because we're right about at the end of the show. Tell me, Kris Ambri, who is your favorite teacher of all time?
My sister.
Ah, I knew you were going to say that. And in my fat little hands,
oh, no.
I've got questions. I asked your sister. Yes, I do. We're playing Sister, Do I Miss Her?
Aww.
Okay. Let's be clear. Your sister, Lisa, is a teacher in Scottsdale Unified School District.
She was. She's retired now.
Oh, she's retired.
She taught for 33 years in Scottsdale.
God bless. God bless. Okay, so I put a bunch of questions to your sister, Lisa, and I asked her to answer these questions. And I'm going to see how well you do know this sister that you love so much.
Oh, please.
Oh, please.
No problem.
I said, describe Kris in one word. What would she say?
Oh, wow. Well, I am the younger one. Goofy?
Sorry. I'm going to go with dedicated.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so she actually loves you, so keep that in mind when she answers these questions. She probably wanted a best foot
I'll
forward.
go a different avenue then, yeah.
Okay, what is her favorite memory of you, Kris?
Her favorite memory of me?
Yes, when you were a kid.
Well, that's a tough one. She knew me longer than I knew her. She kind of took care of me. I would say, bless her little heart, even though she was, let's see, if I was in 8th grade, she was...
That's a Southern diss right there where they start with bless her heart.
I know it is, right? But I mean it. Don't tell Carrie. She and I use that the wrong way.
Yeah.
She would come. It's embarrassing to admit, but I was a cheerleader in 8th grade. And she would come watch games because, mom didn't, but she would, even though she worked too, she would.
Okay, you're going to love this. Just stop right there because you got it right.
No,
She said, now check this out. She said, when she was a middle school cheerleader, cheering, shoot for 2.
Oh my! Well, it was basketball. We were a rather poor district. We couldn't afford a football team. It was only basketball.
Well, let's get through the other questions, and you can round out the segment with doing that cheer for us, okay?
Yeah, no.
All right. What's something you find the most annoying about Kris? She didn't have anything, so I'm just going past that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. What did she say you wanted to be when growing up?
I would guess that she said teacher because
you are correct again.
She always wanted to be a teacher, and she always wanted me to be a teacher. But actually, I was I was either going to be a professional dancer or I was going to join Greenpeace.
Really?
So,
because she said you were going to be a teacher. That's
because
fantastic.
she just knew. She knew this was going to happen.
Natasha's watching, and she says this segment's so entertaining. Huh.
Yeah.
And Rob Value says you are one of his favorite people to substitute for.
Oh, he's one of my favorite subs in all time. Yes, he's awesome, and his son's pretty awesome too.
Wow, Rob Double B the Rob. Nice. Okay. Okay. Who was the one that dated more guys? You or your sister?
So her.
Yeah, because you married she says you married your high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his name is actually Kris. So
his name is Kris. Started dating at 16. Got married. We've been married. It'll be 31 years this year. We didn't get married at 16. We just started dating at 16.
Right. That's gorgeous. Wonderful. Okay, what did she say your favorite thing to eat is?
You sure it wasn't drink?
No, I'm sure. And here's something for the kids at home, watching at home still that haven't tuned out. Kris and Chris actually have a keganator in her house.
We did. We sold it.
What?
I know. We'll talk after. I'll explain. I know. I'll explain why after.
Okay, used to be my favorite. Go ahead.
Yeah, they don't work as well as you think, is my point. They end up
Okay.
wasting more money than you think.
What'd she say
Um,
your favorite thing to eat was?
Food, gosh, anything starchy, whether bread, baked, anything like that.
Well, and I would agree with you, but she went with cookies and M&Ms.
Oh, that's her favorite.
Oh, well,
I
I asked for,
guarantee you, those are her two favorites.
okay. Okay, here we go. Um, last two questions. What is Kris lousy at? What did she say when I asked her what you are lousy at?
There's such a long list.
Go with the
Um,
one at the top.
I would say honestly, because of that we get together a lot, and because partly because it's true and partly because she's a cat person, not a dog person, it's going to have to be something to do with the dogs. Either I take in too many dogs or I don't train my dogs well, right? Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly right. She said, and this is verbatim. She's pretty lousy at training her many dogs.
Yeah, that's true.
God, I love
I'm
this.
a sucker. I'm a pushover. I'm sorry.
I love this. Beth Hindenburg says she's really, and this is capital letters, really glad you decided to be a teacher. Last
Aw,
question.
so sweet.
Last question, my fine friend. What is, and I asked this of your sister, what is the most embarrassing childhood memory she could remember about you?
Oh, it's either it would either be the time I walked into a trash can at Disney World,
Nope, not that one.
or oh, she still brings this up. This doesn't count because I don't remember it. I don't know I did this because my sisters like still make fun of me for it. Apparently, I tried to sneak a giant piece of candy in my little sock when I was like 3 or 4, and tried to like go past the adults and go upstairs with the candy and got caught. I don't.
Oh my God, a life of crime. Look
Yeah,
at this.
that's my crime.
She said right here, when she tried to steal Valentine's chocolate by hiding it poorly in her sock.
In my
Exclamation.
in my defense, we had a really rough childhood, so sneaking food was often a big deal.
I hear you. I'm there with you. Hey, look, I want to thank you for your life of service to the students and your dedication to your profession. There's very few people who know what it's like to be the president of a teachers association. I'm one of them, so I thank you very much for what you've done. I hope you stay involved. Wishing you the happiest of teacher appreciation weeks, and I hope that you have nothing but wonderful success with you and your students in the future.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all the work you did while you were a union, when you were teaching, and look at you now. You're going to represent us in LD23, and we need you. And I couldn't. That's a lot. That's thankless work, and I very very much appreciate it. And I genuinely appreciate every single teacher I come in contact with. I never cease to be amazed at how amazing they all are.
Yeah, and I'll make a little plea during Teacher Appreciation Week. We need to get, I hate to say it, myself elected, because there's going to be a world of hurt in this budget, and we have to have the classrooms protected. We have to have people working together. So go to curlin23.com. Please try to donate something. It's Cinco de Mayo. You're not going out for all those margaritas. Put that to a good cause and invest in the future. Kris Ambri, let's dance this thing off, and we'll join tomorrow with our special guest vice president, Patty Beckman. Ready to dance?
Yep.
Okay, let's go.
80s dance. 80s
Good night,
dance.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you, Eric.